Hello, everyone. Very happy to be with you today. Today, I'm going to introduce you someone that I'm very excited to meet and for you to get to know. But could you actually introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Very pleased to be with you as well. So my name is Bastien. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Rayon,
Hmm.
and we're building a tool for architects to design floor plans in the browser. So pretty much the Figma for architecture, you would say.
Nice. And could you give us a little bit more details about Rayon, like who uses Rayon and what can people achieve exactly with Rayon?
Yeah, so I started working in my career. I had many different professional lives, and I worked a lot in construction, urbanism, public housing for almost 10 years. And I got to see how people were working on construction drawings, floor plans, and basically everyone uses legacy applications that are made for desktop, and so it's
Mm.
really hard to collaborate. People just share PDFs mainly, and then they have to redline them, email chains, the way we worked before. So it was really obvious to me that what I was seeing with Figma and other collaborative tool had to be very interesting for our industry, and that's how we came about the idea for Rayon. So it's pretty much the idea to be able to design in a much more collaborative way. This is what we do. So our goal is not to just build a collaborative tool, but is to really become the best way to design floor plans as a team. So that's really what we do. So you can upload your work in the browser, design in the browser, modify it, and share it with all the stakeholders of your project.
And so your main persona is really like a interior designer. Is that it?
Yeah, well, it's actually more than that. So, our persona is anyone and everyone that is working on floor plans. So it can be
Mm.
an interior architect for sure. It can also be a facility manager. It can be somebody that does events planning. It can be somebody that work on hospitality, retail. So just if you're working on floor plans and you want to modify them, you want to collaborate on them, then Rayon is a great solution for that.
Okay, so like let's say a company wants to move to a new office and there's a project manager and is like thinking about where to put like the engineers, the designers, the people, like it could use Rayon. They
Yeah,
could use Rayon.
yeah, exactly. And actually, that was one of the pain points I had, in my previous companies. Uh, when you work in an office, you get this, ugly PDF. You can't modify it, but you want to do a floor plan. You want to see how your team could be, laid out in the space. Well, that becomes really easy with Rayon. Like the broker can send you a link. You have access to a model in the cloud that you can edit just straight away. So just more efficient. So yeah, for sure it can be that, or you can be doing small renovation of apartments. Then you can just design your floor plan, send to your client proposition. They can give you feedback. You can then send the link to the contractor on site. So doing floor plans and construction in general is super collaborative. Like you don't build something alone. You have to work with many different trades. So a tool that is really open to real-time multiplayer experience is pretty super useful for that. So it completely makes sense. It's so obvious to us that it's the right way we should work in this industry.
Yeah, saying that collaborative features are important in a product. That's what we want to hear, of course. So that's
Yeah.
that's that's awesome. So talk about collaborative features. Could you tell us more about your story with Liveblocks? How
Yeah.
did you find out about Liveblocks? Why did you decide to use Liveblocks? Did you try something else before? Like, can you tell us a little bit more about your story with Liveblocks?
Yeah, well, so we're building a design tool that is collaborative, but as a design tool, you have to build this humongous feature set. And so you really need to be deliberate about what you build internally and what you outsource. So initially, we built a quick and fast prototype for the collaborative layer, the presents layer, where you can see other people present cursors and their comments, and you can broadcast stuff to the other people in the same model. But quickly we realized that it was a pain to do, and it was not the core of what we were offering, as we are a design tool first and
Mhm.
foremost. And then I discovered Liveblocks. I think it was on Twitter that I guess I saw it, and I was super impressed by the quality of the website. And I decided to give it a shot. I ripped out that I'd done previously. And actually, the experience was awesome. It took me less than an hour to switch to Liveblocks, and that's just more stuff out of my plate, out of the plate of the team. So it's all beneficial.
So like you build something to represent like all the presence and all that. You remove that and you install Liveblocks in less than 1 hour. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, we had done something quite similar to what Liveblocks offers out of the box. Just I guess what we had done was just worse, not as good, of course. But the working was the same, and I found the documentation and the architecture of the React library super well made. So it was really easy to make the switch. Especially since we use Liveblocks essentially for the presence layer, because for the data layer we have a very complex architecture that we have to custom build this, and so we could not use something like the store blocks API. We had to build something really custom. So we use it for the layer of presence, and that was super easy to put in place.
So like if I summarize with Liveblocks, you can show like people's cursor, who's on the document. If I remember well from our past discussion, I think you also use it for real-time updates. Is that still the case?
So we use the broadcast capability of Liveblocks. So we use it for the cursor, pretty self-explanatory. But we also use it as kind of a broadcast tool, like something we could have used Pusher, for example, for. And this is because our real-time multiplayer functions with like a push-pull system. So when people get a broadcast that something has changed on the model, then they use our real-time backend to fetch the synchronized data. But we use Liveblocks for that. So super useful. It's both for the presence and also to broadcast information to other people. But it's not persisted data. It's something that is temporary.
And it works well. Like if you think about that, if you show people where people are actually walking and you give a real-time update, then people are less likely to create conflict. So that can work depending on how many people you have. But that works well for I guess a product like yours.
Yeah, for sure. And we also we use it as well to communicate other temporary information to all the users on the same model. Information like the panning and the zooming. So it was super easy to create a feature like follow somebody, and then you can click on their avatar, and then you get their zoom and panning levels. So you get to see where they zoom in and where they pan.
I can follow them around. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And that's when somebody does a presentation of a layout of a floor plan, it's super useful. You can just let the user guide you, and you see exactly where they want to show you stuff.
Nice. And before I move to the next question, I'm curious, like I just have one question right now. Like you're building a tool for designers. Do you feel some kind of a pressure, like designing a tool that designers will use? Is it like more stressful in terms of like UX, UI you're going to implement?
Yeah, it is. It is. But that's what is super exciting, right? Because the bar is super high. And especially architects, they're very high maintenance when it comes to their tools, because that's their the thing they use every day. But it's super exciting because you get those users that are very expert. They have strong feedback, strong opinions about how to do things, and we also have strong opinions on how to create a great user experience. So yeah, it's stressful, but if you have no stress, then it's boring, right?
And apart from the collaborative part, which is already like a game changer in the industry, I guess, but what else would you say Rayon is like changing in the industry? Like, is there something else that you would say like that's you're bringing totally new, except from the collaborative aspect, which is awesome already?
Yeah, sure. Our belief is that you have like very powerful CAD tools, the main one being AutoCAD, of course. You have super powerful BIM tool, the main one being Revit. But we strongly believe that there is a huge underserved market that wants something that is just more powerful than CAD, where you can have semantic meanings to objects, you can have data, but much more simpler than BIM. So that's really what Rayon aims to be. We call it light BIM, but the idea behind this is to have something that is much more simpler, yet powerful, and just so much faster to work with. So that's what we're doing. So we're kind of doing an hybrid where you get some features from CAD, features from more generalist Illustrator tools, and features from BIM, such as data and schedule and so forth. And we think this is a great fit for people that want to go fast, but still have the quality and the precision of a professional tool.
The best of the tools, but tailored to your very unique persona.
Yeah, exactly. And also because, I think the way we work is evolving. Most design tools for the construction and the architecture industry were designed to produce paper documents. That's really what they were made for, to produce those massive printed floor plans. Everything is made for this. We feel this is becoming less and less important. You now want to share a link to a live model rather than a printed document. So it opens this opportunity to build something more interesting, maybe, where you can have a floor plan, but maybe you can have also videos, you can have links to web pages, you can have textures, you can have much more interactive experience. And in the end, it's all about the designer communicating an intent of its design, what he wants to build. And you can do it much more efficiently if you can add data, if you can add links to other resources, inspiration, if you have integration with Pinterest, with messaging and so forth. And this is really what we think is the future. So that's what we're bringing to the table, I think.
Yeah. We often talk about collaboration, about efficiency, and we had an interview with someone from Facet.ai, like a design application, and they mentioned that like seeing what other people can do next to you is not only about efficiency, it's also about inspiration, so that you can see what others have done and you can do something similar, maybe better. You can like learn, base your work on what others have done. So that's really an angle that I find very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, my belief is that all design tools are going to move to two very strong pillars. So the first one is the cloud collaboration tool. So Google Docs, Figma, they've led the way. It's pretty obvious what you gain from having a community, having all the resources online. You can just share assets, templates, plugins, whatever. Super, super strong. And then there is another pillar that is AI. I think this is really important. We're seeing right now, this is the talk of the town, but I think this is going to become more and more important in the future, having those generative aspects of design. And of course, the two are kind of linked because with a cloud-based software, you get centralized data, so you can train your models, and then you can offer much more efficient AI features. So that's what we're really trying to build. I think all design software are going to be redefined by those two things. And we're trying to just build it from the ground up like this.
Yeah, can't wait to see, because of course, like if you bring stuff to the cloud, then you give AI more things to learn, so to improve. I can't wait to see how it's gonna work with that. That's very cool. If we talk about your like maybe technical architecture, I say technicals because I don't want to talk about architecture as in like building buildings. But not trying to make a bad joke, but can you tell us more about your technical architecture and how Liveblocks fits into that?
Yeah, so Rayon is kind of an hybrid app. So we have most of our code is written in Rust and compiled to WebAssembly. The reason for that is mainly performance and performance in CPU cycle, but also because we work with massive amount of data. So being able to have a strong control on the memory layout is important for us. So we decided to work like this, but we also have a React app in TypeScript that is kind of the UI of the engine we built in Rust. And this is where Liveblocks fits in, right? So we have to decide what kind of things we do in the UI layer in React and what kind of things we do in the game and the rendering engine, basically. And for us, presents, it was pretty much obvious it had to be done in the React layer. So Liveblocks was a great fit for this. And we try to only reserve the engine for really strong model data. So that's how we work on the front side, and on the back end we also work a lot in Rust, and we have implemented our own real-time multiplayer backend. So for our specific data need.
Yeah, very, very cool. Very interesting to see the two of them like living together. And of course, yes, like React and Liveblocks is like the best feed ever. We have like other integration possible, but the React one is the most successful one. Someone on React
Yeah, yeah,
will love Liveblocks all of a sudden. Like, yeah, it's
yeah.
very well integrated. And so you mentioned that it was easy to install Liveblock. That, I'm going to be honest with you, that's something we hear a lot. So that's always great to hear.
Yeah.
But I always love when people say less than 1 hour. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that myself as Adrien, less than an hour, but I'm always impressed. But now, what is the impact of Liveblocks on you as a founder, on your team? Like, because we'll talk about implementation, but in terms of maintenance, support, what is the impact on you about that?
Oh, that's a good. I mean, I would say there is no impact. Like, it just works. So that's nice. We don't have to think about it. That's one less thing to think about. And that's pretty much what I expect when I, use an outsourced solution like this. The main goal for me is just to have less maintenance to do, less overhead for the team. And that's exactly what happens. Like, it just works. We don't have to worry about it. So yeah, pretty much it.
But that's the best answer. Like, I'm very happy with that. No worries. And did you get to work with the Liveblocks team, Liveblocks people, and how was your experience working with those people?
Oh, I did not. I just
You did not?
No, I just went on the website, just and
So fully self-serve.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean the documentation is amazing. The website is amazingly done. So no, it was pretty, and also it's that's a nice thing about a framework like React. The custom hooks were super well made and pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, I mean you just have to yarn install the library, add a few hooks, and you're done. So no, but I have to say that because I did the implementation before, I kind of had an idea of how things should be done, and it was very nice to see that Liveblocks had the solution well made. So it was super easy to put in place.
Who needs human when we have a great documentation? Isn't it the goal?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love this. I'm the type of person that just hates taking a call with a salesperson or a customer service person. I just want to, sign up and get it working.
Yeah, I would be kind of like that. But we have a Discord channel in case you can write me an email if you want, but you can go and anyone can go to the Discord channel where you can ask a question. No need to jump on the call, no sales discussion, but just you can write a message and someone will help you just in case the documentation is not good enough. But if it's perfect as it is,
I might have some questions for sure. One of the things we didn't really go deep into is how to what's the best practices are for using Liveblocks in a testing environment. So we have we have, of course, a CI with a quite intensive test harness end to end. So we're using both Cypress and Playwright. And yeah, basically we're just failing the connection to Liveblocks because we don't give it any token. We don't want to have the test suite, spamming your servers. But maybe it would be nicer to have some way to disconnect it or to have some kind of mock. So we just don't really test that part of the app.
Yeah, that's something that was actually raised recently on our Discord and something we'll tackle as soon as we can. We're working on things right now, but thank you for that feedback. I think that would be it for me in terms of things I wanted to cover. That was a really insightful conversation. I love how you're passionate about your industry and collaborative features, of course. Is there anything else you'd like to add before before the end of that conversation?
No, not really. I think we've covered it.
Awesome. Bastien, that was a pleasure to meet you. And I hope Rayon will be successful and I wish you a great day. And
thanks a lot, Adrien.
talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.